Hey, technical difficulties, but we're live, I think. The intro didn't play. So you saw behind the scenes of what happens when tech doesn't go right. But welcome, everyone. Welcome to the CNC show. Imagine like a pretty little intro and music and countdown. We're just going to go ahead and get started here. We've got 16 people in here, and we'll take a little bit longer. It usually takes a few minutes for people to get in. And Alex Duffy, yes, I can see you. Thank you, Alex. Typically, this is where I like get some water and get ready to like hype it up, but it happens. But welcome to the CNC show. I hope you are doing well and having a great day wherever you are. There's a lot going on in the CNC world today. The Vectric UGM is happening right now as we go on, which is an online. Todd talked about it 2 weeks ago. An online great free event that you can check out. Just go to Vectric's YouTube channel and check that out. I've got a presentation coming up at 3 o'clock Eastern today that will be it'll be live at 3 o'clock, so you can check it out. And but first, we got this. We've got a jam-packed show for you today. We put a ton into this show, and it all starts with our special guest, Cody. Cody from Cadence Manufacturing, manufacturer of the Jenny bits, the popular high-quality CNC router bits. I've known Cody for a long time, a couple of years now. We got started roughly at the same time in this space, and we've had a lot of great conversations, and I want you to be a part of that today. A lot of knowledge will be shared today, and we are super excited. So along with that, we've got a couple of giveaways planned. Cody has brought some things to give away, which is really exciting. We've actually got 2 different giveaways, so make sure that you stick around for those 2 chances to win. We've also got some fun segments where we're going to play Guess the Price, which is a fan favorite. And we're also going to talk about Tools of the Week, which is one of my favorites as well. One more thing before we bring Cody on is my course, the CNC Kickstart. Just want to let you know, we're currently in the middle of a launch, a special launch, a relaunch at the $149 price point. And the reason I bring this up is because the price is about to increase. And if you're on the fence, no pressure, but if you're on the fence, it's time to lock in that price at $149 because it's going to go up to $197 here Friday at midnight. So you have this week, which is actually tomorrow. Okay, so you have about 36 hours to jump on that. And there should be a link in the chat. If not, we'll get you a link down in the description for that. So the CNC Kickstart is special promo launch is ending tomorrow at midnight. All right. Well, I think without further ado, that's all the housekeeping I have today. I see a bunch of people here in the chat. Let's give a warm welcome to Cody Elkins from Cadence Manufacturing. Hey. I think there's going to be
How are you, man?
Okay, ready?
Oh my God. Making me blush over here.
I know. I'm sorry, man. Hey, man, how are you doing?
Doing good. It's funny. I always struggle with the time changes. Like anytime I'm doing a YouTube, it's always like you guys are 3 hours ahead of me. So it's like I feel like I'm still getting up, getting ready. My day's going. It's 9 o'clock. I just got a couple cups of coffee on me. So
yeah, this morning I've already got the kids ready for school, off to school. I went to the local coffee shop, got a cup of coffee, came in. I've worked for a couple hours already, and you're just getting out of bed.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've been up since 6. I've been up since 6 a.m. this morning, but yeah.
But the truth is when I quit at the end of the day, you're still working. So
yeah, that's true. And you know what? I don't know. Being a small business owner, I feel like you never really quit working. Like it's different. It's different than when you go and clock in at another company and then you leave like you're done. But when you're doing your own side hustle or small little business, like it never shuts off.
Yeah, absolutely. For people that don't know you, let's say they've heard of the Jenny bit before. I would say that's probably the most popular name around your brand, right? That's what started it all, were the Jenny
Yes.
bits.
Yep.
But talk a little bit about your background. What do you do? Just introduce yourself a little bit for someone that may not know.
Okay. Well, I'll just try to give you the Reader's Digest so I don't take up too much of your time or bore people in the live chat. But yeah, so I've worked in manufacturing pretty much my entire adult career. I was really fortunate when I was in high school. I actually took all the welding classes at Yavapai College, and I had finished all of the welding courses before I graduated high school. So I landed a job at 17 as like an aerospace welder, and
Okay.
I've been in a machine shop ever since. So I started off as like a welder, did that for a while. I actually took over the entire welding department, and then I was just kind of that guy where anytime there was like a need, like they brought me in, and I just kind of worked in that position. So like I was doing the welding, and then they lost a couple of their machinists, and they pulled me from the welding department, started doing machining, and then from machining they brought me into like quality, and then I did quality for a number of years, and I actually ended up becoming a quality engineer for a couple different companies. But my background is all like manufacturing, engineering. Like that's kind of how I started. And years down the road, I started getting into the hobby CNC stuff, right? So I think it was pre-COVID. I remember buying like my first 3D printer and kind of getting excited about that. And then I told my wife I just really wanted to build a robot in my garage. So I got a Bob's CNC.
Oh yeah, the wooden one.
Dude, it was, what? Like, I think I got carpal tunnel because of all of the little nuts and bolts that I had to assemble on this thing. But I loved it. I mean, there will always be a special place in my heart for Bob CNC. But it was small. It was a little wooden CNC router. I actually got 2 of them.
Okay.
So I started just as a hobby in my garage. Then once people heard that I had a small little CNC machine, it was like, hey, can you make this? Can you make that? And then kind of the lights went on. I was like, okay, I have something here. So that machine paid for the next Bob's CNC machine, which paid for the next machine, which paid for the next machine. And like 6 or 7 years later, I now have this machine, which is absolutely insane. But I started doing all this stuff in my garage and being very involved in the maker community. I started designing my own cutting tools to help manage the rigidity issues that I was having on my belt-driven CNC machines, right?
Okay.
And so I think it was right around 2019, 2020 is when I developed the very first, I didn't know it at the time, but that was the very first Jenny bit. And the whole idea behind it is because my machine didn't have a lot of rigidity, I started building and designing tooling that helped manage the issues that I was experiencing.
Yeah. So using your prior experience in manufacturing, that's cool.
Yeah. So the company I used to work at, it was called Resonant Solutions. We did a lot of defense work for the government, and in doing so, we had these big 5-axis like CNC machines,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to design a lot of our own custom tooling for the types of projects that we were making. So that's how I got in and around like tool designing, and then I started doing that for personal use. And then when I was talking with other people in the community, people were like, "Oh man, I'd love it if we had a bit that could do this or a bit could do that." And I just started just rolling with it. And it just kind of turned into what it is today. Completely unplanned. Like it's like I had the product and the customers before I even had the business. So I feel like I was always playing catch up. And then finally got to the point where the bits were becoming so popular that the companies that I was having them, that were making them for me here in the Valley, the lead times were killing me. They're like, hey, we'll get your tools made, but you'll see them in like 8 weeks. know,
Mm,
because I was a very, very small customer compared to like the Honeywells and the GEs and the Northrop Grumman and all these companies that had tooling made. So with a lot of thought and a lot of prayer and a lot of consideration,
hmm
decided to go all in, and I quit my full-time job as a quality engineer, and I bought my first Anka CNC grinder. Um, Actually, I just got rid of that machine. This is a brand new one. I've had this for about a month.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, and
You
so
know,
that's kind
you
of
know,
how it all.
that's great. I remember. I was just gonna say, I remember when you. So I didn't know you before I. This sounds weird, but before I discovered what you were doing, I think I came across your when you were sharing when you were making the leap when you bought that first machine, and I think you went to Detroit to
Yeah.
learn how to operate it, and I followed your story and your journey through there, and I was like, this guy is. I know you are a humble man, but I was like, this is my kind of guy. Like, this dude is taking a risk and going all in, and I love it. Um, and then I think we met at Workbench Con,
Yep.
and yeah, kind of the rest is history. So, what do you just to kind of sum it all up in one sentence here? For someone that doesn't know, what do you offer today? What do you do? What's your business today?
So I primarily manufacture cutting tools for the tailored for the hobby grade CNC community. I make everything from compression routers to downshirt bits to V bits to bowl bits to drill mills. There's a whole array of tooling, which that in of itself is kind of a miracle because, you know, this started 2.5 years ago with one tool, and to be able to like develop, work with the community, and try to create this different tooling to make our lives bigger, faster, stronger, easier. Like it's incredible how far and how quickly it's come.
Yeah.
So I think I don't even know. I think I'm up to like 20 something tools now
Oh
that I
wow.
offer. But the coolest part about all of it is all of the tooling geometry I specifically design around issues and problems that we have as makers. So like the original Jenny bit, you know, that has a really short upcut portion. And again, this isn't like all me. This is from talking to other people in the community too, and just knowing and hearing the struggles that they have with their machines. That's kind of what led to a lot of this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but the Jenny bit, it has a really short upcut geometry, which allows you to get the benefits of a compression router without overtaxing your machine, because you can take a really shallow depth of cut versus a 250 thousandths depth per pass that my Bob CNC couldn't handle. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yep. Yeah. That's great.
So that's really kind of where I live. Um,
Cool.
and
Well, I think in our first segment here coming up, um, we're going to talk more about bits and
yeah,
specifics. And I've loved our conversations about all that goes into we take a router tool and shove it into our CNC, right? But all the thought and everything that goes into this piece of carbide, it just blows my mind. So let's get into our first segment, and you're going to break that down for him, Cody.
okay, yeah, let's do it.
All
Ask
right, let's
away.
go. Maybe.
I don't know why they're not playing.
All right. Well, we're gonna run this show segment segment free, but our first segment is tool of the week, and picture tools flying across the screen. All right. So Cody, let's talk about bits. Let's talk about like you just talked about in your wheelhouse, but specifically, you know, the thumbnail. I don't want to mislead people. The thumbnail talked about breaking bits. What do you think? Just to get the conversation started, what do you see? The most common the common thing that people do that breaks bits.
Well, let me think for a second. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of different variables that need to be taken into consideration, right? But I think for me, probably the most common thing that I see when people are breaking tools, it's not usually the bigger quarter-inch tools. It's the smaller stuff that people break more often. So like the 1/8" down cut or any type of 1/8" cutter, that's where I see people breaking tools a lot, and a lot of it has to do with tool projection. So tool projection is everything. Working as a machinist, it was drilled into me. You know, the more rigid your setup is, the better your work holding is, the better your tooling is, the better your results are going to be. And having these smaller machines that don't have a really nice big solid metal table with a curt vise, like there's a lot of different variables and vibrations and stuff that can happen when we're using our CNC routers.
Yeah.
So when you're cutting, especially with like an 1/8" cutter, the tool projection is really important, because the longer that you stick your tool out, the more tool deflection that you're introducing into your process. And carbide doesn't bend. Like carbide just breaks. You know, so I can't tell you how many times I've had people email me and they're like, hey, I broke this bit and I don't know why, and they'll send me a picture, and I can see like if here's the cutting tool, it's broken way up on the shank. It's not even down in the flutes. And it's because they were sticking their tooling out too far, which, you know, when you're in a pinch and you need to stick your tool out for clearance, you can certainly do so, but you need to take a look at your feeds and speeds and maybe slow it down a little bit. Make sure the chips are clearing really, really well. Just kind of doing that type of stuff to prevent those types of breakage.
Yeah. What I always like to picture is, I just think about like leverage, right? If you were going to, if you were trying to lift something heavy and you had a spud bar, a metal bar, right? Like the further the end you get to that, the more like leverage you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing's happening with your bit. The further you're holding that up in the shank, the more pressure, the more I guess not wear, but the more pressure you're putting on the end, like of that bit, right? It doesn't bend, so it's just going to snap before it bends, right?
Mm-hmm. So there's definitely that, and then I think a close number two is just man, sometimes you just forget that you put a screw somewhere, or you crash into a clamp or something like that. You know, that's probably the number two breakage. So it's tool deflection from your setup and then running into stuff. So
yeah. And someone, Ron, just dropped it in the chat. Forgetting to set your Z height. That's a big one. Or just for like setting it. I see a lot of people going from, I don't know what team you're in, but if you always zero from the top of your workpiece or your bed, but if you have that set up wrong and you don't zero to the place that you specified in your software, that can break bits as well.
Yeah, or just forgetting to turn on your spindle. I've done that.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That'll do it pretty quickly.
Yeah, but generally speaking, I think that tool deflection is probably the biggest. Second one is just paying attention to your tool path, knowing what's in the way, and then the third one is just sometimes knuckleheads like me will just forget to turn on the router, or I'll drop a bit and break it.
Yeah, for sure. So that kind of leads me to my next question. I've always wondered about coated bits, right? They're more expensive, and so I've had this conversation with you before, but I want to do it again because it is very intriguing. First of all, what are bit coatings? What do they do? And what is the advantage of using a coated versus uncoated bit? And who should buy coated bits, right? Because I don't think they're for everyone in every situation. But maybe prove me wrong. But what's your take on it?
Well, I personally believe, again, when I started my whole journey, this was all for personal use, right? So when I started making my own tools, I got everything coated. So I'm in the camp that I think everybody should have coated tools, and for several reasons. Coating technologies have really come a long way over the last like 20 years. The coatings that I use specifically, it's the ZRN. It's called zirconium nitride coating. And the reason why I chose that on my personal tools and the tools I manufacture and share with everybody else is it has a really high lubricity value to it. It has a really hard like wear surface. So it does a couple things. Heat is the number one thing that will make any carbide tool go dull, right? So the better that you can manage the heat, the longer your tool life is going to be. And with the ZRN, because it has such a high lubricity value, it's evacuating the chips faster. It makes it more slippery, and it helps prevent that kind of that pitch that builds up on your tools. Like all that stuff builds up heat. And the other thing too is like so this is really interesting, and I did not know this until I started making my own tools. And I actually learned this from the carbide companies that make the carbide for cutting tools.
Okay.
And they told me that if you're cutting a lot of MDF, which guys like us and two-car garages, we make a lot of stuff out of MDF. I know all of my fixtures that I make is out of MDF. A lot of guys make signs and do epoxy fill, stuff like that. Well, during the manufacturing process of MDF, the chemicals that they use, which I don't even know what chemicals they use, but I was told from the carbide company that those chemicals actually help like break down carbide on a molecular level. So those chemicals actually attack, I think it's the cobalt that's inside your carbide, which is like the binder that keeps it all together. And so if you're cutting a lot of MDF, not only is it abrasive, it creates a lot of heat, but it's attacking the carbide on a molecular like level, right? So you have all of these things kind of working against you and making your tools go dull. So whenever you're cutting materials like MDF, like always use a coated tool, because it's going to make your tools last way longer. And so just because of the stuff that I've learned as like a tool manufacturer, like now today, I just make it standard. I coat everything for those reasons. But yeah, so if you, and the interesting thing too is like if you take a tool, I have a couple around here. If you have a tool that's uncoated and you take the same exact tool and coat it and you do a side-by-side comparison, same feeds and speeds, work holding, same project, everything, you should get about 3 times the amount of tool life with a coated tool versus a tool that's not coated. So for all those reasons, that's why I really like putting coatings on my tools. And the other thing too is there's a lot of other different types. And so you gotta be careful, because there are some coatings that you can put on your tools that actually make your tools like go dull from the process when they're actually growing like the coating onto your tools. And again, the only reason I know this is because it was through trial and error and trying other coatings. And there was this diamond coating I did one time, and it was great. The tool's going to last forever. They have to actually etch the carbide in order to grow the diamond onto the tool. And so when they etched the carbide, I lost that really sharp, like shearing edge that we need on our wood cutting tools, right? Because you want that nice, clean, cut. You want that nice, clean edge. Yeah. And so it actually honed it. It actually radiused out the cutting edge of my tools. And I was like, yep, so not going to use that one. But the ZRN coating, it doesn't do that. It actually, without getting too technical, there's only like a 3 micron buildup, and it doesn't erode or affect like the sharpness of your tools.
Okay.
So that's why I like coatings, and that's why I put them on all my tools. They're a big deal.
Yeah. Okay. So if a coating makes a bit last, coated versus uncoated, in the same environment, right? Same material, same feeds and speeds, because there's a lot of factors involved. What Uh, in a production setting, absolutely. I completely get that. Where my hesitant is, and I've shared this with you before. I don't know if you remember. My hesitant. I like coded bits. I like uncoded bits too.
Mm-hmm.
For the beginner, my guess is we started about breaking tools. My
Yeah.
guess is until you build up some experience, you're probably going to break that tool by doing one of the three things that we talked about before you see that 3x life.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so that's my only caveat. Like, I'm not against coded tools at all. I think uh, hmm, I'm not against your coded tools,
No, well, no.
but you know
Well,
what I'm
no,
getting at. Yeah.
I do. And the other thing too, there are some other companies out there, like they promote, it's like they promote their tools as being super awesome because of the coding, and they make it all about the coding,
Yes.
but the tool geometry still sucks. So
Yes.
like you can put lipstick on a pig and it's still going to be a pig at the end of the day, right? So I think there's a fair argument to be made there for sure.
Yep.
But that's why there's guys like you who have your CNC training course, and there's guys like Garrett, and there's people in the community where we have these conversations where you could find the best like application for those types of tools, and definitely for the new guys starting out. Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with buying cheaper tools to get started because you want to learn, right?
Yep.
For me personally, though, I'm the type of person where I try not to do that. And again, this is just me personally, because I tend to train bad habits when I know I have just like a throwaway tool or something like that.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So every time, like when I first started my CNC journey, and I was buying the Almanas, I was buying the higher quality tools. But then again, I worked as a machinist for a really long time, so I kind of had a better like understanding, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Like with
But
me, I grew grass before I did this. Zero of those skills transferred. And I bought that pretty Amana sexy bit,
yeah,
and smacked that sucker right into a clamp and broke it. And yeah. So, yes,
no,
prior experience does matter.
it does. But again, there's nothing wrong with getting some cheaper tools if you wanna just like test out a process or whatever. Just be mindful, just it's like anything else. If you want to be proficient, practice. What's that saying? Practice makes perfect. That's not true. It's
Yeah.
perfect practice makes perfect, right? So you just always want to practice those good habits, and that's what I love about the community, is because there's a lot of people out there who help you to practice perfectly.
Yeah. And then the next thing, I really kind of want to draw deep here, and talk about some things that don't get talked about a lot, but that you and I have talked about. Like, okay, so let's talk about feeds and speeds
Okay.
in comparison, in the same vein as coatings. So let's say, because that's a skill that needs to be learned, right? Like chip
Mm-hmm.
load, how different materials, how fast do I run these? Uh, because I think what I observe is most people run their tools too slow,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, RPMs too fast. That's what I did when I got started.
Same.
Uh,
Yeah.
and had to learn the hard way. And so, what's your take on that? What is that doing? And maybe can a coding help you in this situation?
Um, yes and no. So I mean, feed the speeds are definitely important. Again, the whole goal and the whole reason why you want to have a coded tool is to help manage the heat, right? That's being generated while you're doing your carving or while you're machining something. And so the coding doesn't make it a like fix it all, like this tool is going to last forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to help it last longer once you have everything else set up properly. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So one thing, and I agree with you. I think more times than not, I see people using like a Makita router or a DeWalt router, and their RPMs are way too high, and they're just smoking their bits.
Yep.
So it's a combination of moving too slow in your material, and your RPM being way too high. And so one thing I just always try to tell people, like, pay attention to the type of chips that you're getting off of your cut.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's really hard to tell somebody, hey, these are the feeds and speeds that's going to work for your process, because there's so many variables out there. You might have a Makita router while this guy has a spindle. This guy might have a Bob CNC, and this guy might have a Onefinity Elite with, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
And so, like, generally speaking, I tell people, as you're developing your feeds and speeds, I can give you kind of like a starting point, and then from there, you know when a tool's cutting good from the sound of it versus when it's not cutting good, right? If it's super loud, super screechy, and you're seeing smoke, like, obviously something's wrong, right? Like, you don't want to see really fine, like, sawdust from your CNC router. You want to see nice, healthy, fluffy looking chips.
Yeah. You want to know something I did for the first time recently? And you and I are going to talk about this a little bit more later on, but I ran my Avid CNC at 1,000 inches per minute.
Awesome. How'd it do?
I did not break a bit.
Good. That's great. So was it like the full tilt party, full depth of cut, 1,000 inches a minute?
So yeah, it was full depth and 3/4 inch plywood, 24,000 RPMs, 1,000 inches per minute. And a rooster tail of chips, like huge chips.
Yeah. So the cool thing about that, next time you do that, Andy, obviously with like safety and discretion in mind, but if you see that rooster tail of chips, if you take your hand and have those chips fan out and have it hit your hand while it's going, you can actually feel the heat coming off with the chips.
Yep.
Like that's a really good thing.
Yeah. So Corey, we got Cody here, but Corey from Avid, I've had this conversation with before, and he's the only one I've ever heard say it this way, but a chip acts as a heat sink to the bit.
Yes.
It is dissipating the heat away from the bit. It is keeping, and that's why dust collection is important too, because you get those chips up and out of there, and you're keeping that bit cooler, which is keeping it sharper longer. So yeah, chips act as a heat sink, and very fine dust is not a good heat sink.
No, it's a fine dust like that gets in the kerf of your cut actually acts more like insulation than a heat sink, right? So it builds up that heat. That heat those chips get packed in there, and then you come around your second time, and then you're recutting those chips again, making it even hotter, making your tool duller, and then now you're introducing that tool deflection that we were talking about, and then before you know it, you break your bit. Yeah, you want those nice fluffy chips. Get them up, get them out as fast as you can. There's some applications though, like with compression routers. Sometimes you want that chip pack to be staying in there, so your part doesn't move when it's done cutting. But that's on a full depth of cut, one single pass. You know what I mean? No tabs, no nothing. In that application, like, yeah, you want those chips to be packed down in there. But for the majority of everything that we do, it's so important. Like, I like that analogy, the heat sink analogy.
Yeah, that was really good. Well, we could talk about this all day, and we have talked for hours before.
True.
But I think this is a good place to leave it. We've got a giveaway to do here after our first segment. So here's how we're going to do it. What's going to happen is you're going to put hashtag #AndyBirdBuilds in the chat. Put hashtag #AndyBirdBuilds in the chat, and that you only have to do it once. If you do it 5 times, that's not 5 entries. You can only get 1 entry. So just put hashtag #AndyBirdBuilds in the chat, and you'll be entered to win this first giveaway. Cody, you want to share what this first generous giveaway you're bringing will be?
Um, so, as we were kind of talking about this, and, when you reached out to me and said, hey, you want to come and be a part of this? I was like, yes, I can't wait. And then the first thing I thought, I was like, can I do a giveaway? I enjoy being a part of stuff like this, and it's something special for me. So I wanted to make it special for everybody else too. So I figured, just in the light of everything and having like a brand new machine, I figured I'd give away the bit that started my whole journey. So the original 1/4-inch compression router, the Jenny bit. And then I also wanted to throw in a 1/4-inch downtown Jenny, just because with the compression router and a down cut bit, like, you can do a lot of damage with those two.
Yeah.
So
sure. Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I'd love to give that away, and it's part of the drawing.
Awesome. Well, you have a great chance, viewers. You have a great chance to win here. So make sure you put #AndyBirdBuilds in the chat, and we're going to draw here in 30 seconds for this first winner. Thank you so much for your support of the community, man. I think a lot of your success has been because you are so community focused, and we do have a great community of CNCers around here. So thank you for giving back to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
All right, we'll count down from 5. Put in #AndyBirdBuilds in the chat. You've got 5 seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1. All right, Eric, go ahead, and hopefully this tech works this time. Yeah, everybody clap. The tech is working.
All right.
We're going to pick a random winner here, and we'll tell you how to claim your prize. But good luck, everyone. Need a drum roll. Yeah. Oh, Daryl R. Congratulations on winning 2-bit. Excuse me. So, Daryl, what you need to do is send an email to support. Can you support at andybirdbuilds.com up here on the screen? So Daryl will be looking for your email and send your information over, your shipping information over to support at andybirdbuilds.com. And we'll get that to Cody, and he will hook you up.
Yep.
Don't go anywhere. That's not the only giveaway today. Cody is generously going to give us, we're going to do another giveaway here coming up, but we are going to go to our next segment, and I don't think the segments are working. So it's called Guess the Price. Oh, there we go. Guess the price. Woohoo. Sing a song, Cody.
That is so.
Okay, we're going to guess the price. All right. So we've got a fun game here. Fun game to play here called Guess the Price. Audience, this is a game that you can play. So make sure you're ready to put your answers in the chat, and we'll see who wins. We'll see who gets the most right at the end. We've got 4 items. I get it. It's that time of year. 4 items, and that I do not know the price of, so I'm going to be guessing along with you. The product is going to come up on the screen, and we are going to simply guess the price. All right. Cody, how many do you think you're going to get right?
Man, I suck at these games. I'm like the worst. Every time I guess, I'm so far off. So I don't know. It's a total crapshoot for me.
All right. Well, number 1. You may hear a creepy voice behind the curtain. Just picture like the Wizard of Oz, and don't mind the man behind the curtain.
Hello, I'm the man behind the curtain. Okay, our first item that we're going to look at today is this wine and beer caddy. This is really unique because it is a flat pack, which means when you get it in the mail, it does not come like this. You got to put it together yourself.
I love that.
As you can see, the sizes are also on the screen.
All right, this is a hack. I'm going to share this real quick. Okay, if you never know what size to make something. Oh, so let's say one of my favorite ways to create things is to find inspiration around the internet, right? And one of the ways to do that is to find these photos. They put the dimensions on there. I'm not saying copy this directly, but what I'm saying is make your own, but you can get an idea. Okay, that's what 12 inches tall looks like. That's what 7 inches wide looks like. Anyways, I just saw those. I do this a lot if I'm trying to develop something or I like something. Use that information to your advantage. Anyways, what is the price? What do you guys think this is? Cody, what comes to mind?
My first thought was $65.
Ooh, 65. Okay. All right. I'm probably gonna be way off, but I'm thinking $39.99. We've got a bunch of guesses here all over. I think we're in the range. Like I'm in the lower range and you're kind of in the upper range of what people are saying. So Eric, let's see what we've got here. $44.95. All right. So I was $5 off. Price is right. I win.
Yeah, you got to take into consideration shipping. So after the 44 plus the $20 for shipping, you're right around 65.
There you go.
Awesome. We had somebody who had $45 dollars. So I consider that close. 5 cents off.
Nice. Good job, everyone. All right. Let's see what other products Eric has found for us.
Yeah, so with fall coming around, I have found for us these Halloween lanterns.
The popular lanterns.
Of course, there are 3 of them here, but we're only going to price one, and that is the largest one you see there in the middle. It is 7 inches by 18 inches by 5 inches.
All right.
And it is reclaimed wood. The guy said he got them from fence posts.
Okay. Drop in the chat, anybody, if you're making these this fall. This has been a popular item over the years. Are you making any? Are you selling any? Let us know in the chat. But what price do we have on these? What do you think we're selling these for? It's got 29, 35, 30. Oof. You want to go first or you want me to go first?
You can go.
All right. Let's do, I'm going to say $30. $30 comes to mind.
Yeah. So a lot of times when I'd see people do this in the past, they do a 3-pack. It's either like 15 for each or like 25 for all 3 type of thing.
Which do you think that's good? Do you think that's underpriced or overpriced?
Well, I personally think it's underpriced from what a lot of people sell them for. But the materials, usually pretty cheap. But it's only the one, just the tall one by itself. It's not the whole pack. That's what we're guessing.
Yep, just the tall one by itself.
Yeah. You know what? You're going 30. I'll go a little bit lower this time. I'll say 25.
All right. What do we got here?
The answer is
40. Wow. Okay. And we should, the other thing too is like when we say what are they selling these for, I think this is misleading because that's assuming they're selling. I don't mean that mean or disrespectful at all, but like what are they offering to sell these for? You know what I mean? Yeah.
I feel like this year, I haven't really seen the jack-o'-lantern trend much. Like, I think it finally is like dying off.
Yeah.
Every year it's been like a huge push and everybody was doing it. But I feel like this year I haven't been seeing a lot of posts of them lately.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't seen many of them.
Okay, here's our next item. Keeping that fall kind of feel, we've got
nice.
A couple of pumpkins. These do come in a set. They are made of maple and do have a Danish oil on them as well too. So the largest one there you see is about 6.5 inches by 5 by 5. Oh. And then the smallest one is 3 inch by 3 inch, just so you kind of have a idea on the size there. Obviously, they joint together, however you would call that. You can see top and bottom.
Yeah, kind of slide together there.
Correct.
Uh, 'Is it just the pumpkins or the?
Oh, nice.
Is it just the pumpkins or the? Is it just the pumpkins or the pumpkins? 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 the little piece of wood underneath too.
The rest of it's just a garnish to make it look good. It's just the 3 pumpkin set.
Okay. Yeah, gosh. I'm going to say 30.
Okay, I like that. I'm going to go... I think the size is a little misleading here. They look small. I'm going to go 40. We'll go 10 higher than you. So what do we... Mike says 32. 20. Julianne says 28. 30. Okay. What is it here?
The price for the wooden pumpkin set is...
Wow.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Not too bad.
Nice.
Not too bad.
Nice.
I'm so horrible at this. It's like guessing price and guessing weight. I'm the worst. Like
Yeah.
when I'm shipping boxes, I'm like, oh, that's about 5 pounds, and it's like way off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, our last item up to go is kind of keeping with that fall theme. Is this owl piggy bank? This owl-looking piggy bank, and as you can see, the dimensions
There you
are
go,
on
there
the
you go.
screen. This is made out of beech wood.
Oh, beech. Not a wood I've used before. What do we got here? 10 by 8.
Beech wood. Beech is really soft. Usually people use that for like hand carving, right?
I think so.
So I think the material is pretty cheap. And then it looks like there's probably 1/8-inch cast acrylic that they laser.
Yep.
Correct, and you can pay to have this customized if you need to.
Get your answers in the chat, and I'll be right back.
We're going to take a break with Andy, so I'll sit here and talk with Cody. So yeah, get your answers in the chat, but you can get this customized with a name or a kid's name if you wanted to. Cody, what are you feeling for the price of this one? We're pricing a non-customized, so what you see on the screen.
Well, gosh, I think it depends. If you're looking on Etsy, I think the price is going to be way different versus if it's at somebody's website. So I don't know. I think $45.
$45. Okay.
Yeah.
Just so you know, and I actually do this as I go through and look up these items, I make sure that they at least ship from America. So trying not to pull, manufactured stuff from the other side of the pond.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, we got a lot of answers. Andy can't answer right now because he's in the little boy's room. But he'll be back in a second. He's walking back. Andy, what do you think the price of that owl is?
I think 35.
He says $35 is what he thinks. Okay, here we go. Retail price for the owl-shaped piggy bank is $45.21. It was on sale. That's why the 21 cents is on there. It was some kind of a discount. I can't remember the original.
Gotcha.
But $45.21 for the owl-shaped piggy bank.
Shoot, man. So I've had... Cody, forgive me. I've had this cough, and I've been drinking water like a madman trying to not cough through this thing. And it was an emergency. I literally thought my kidneys were going to explode. So forgive me. Hey, Eric told on me where I was. Maybe I was just taking a mental timeout, okay?
Yeah, you had to. I mean, guessing price is that
it's super stressful.
Yeah.
It's super stressful.
So, okay. Super stressful. Like my wife and I, our kitchen just recently flooded. And so we're having Yeah, dude, it sucked. The dishwasher broke. So we had to have like water restoration people come in, and we demoed the kitchen. And the whole time my wife's like, oh, I want to get this and I want to get that. And all I'm hearing is cha-ching, cha-ching. And so, yeah, I've been guessing prices for the last 2 weeks, and it is stressful.
Hopefully, were you better or worse at it with your wife than you were here today?
With my wife, I have no idea. I have no idea. It's weird. Sometimes, like, she's super frugal and super cheap about some things, and then other things, it's like want to spend $8 for a square foot on this tile? Like I don't know.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So now is the time. So we've got something exciting coming up. Don't go anywhere. I need every single one of you in the chat. I need every single one of you. Okay. We're going to do something. I had this idea. This is going to be fun. This hasn't been done in this space before, Cody, and you have no idea what's about to happen.
I'm game. Let's do it.
Okay. He said he's in. He doesn't even know what he's signing up for. All right. I want everybody to go and raid Cody's last Facebook post. And so we are all going to go there right now. There's going to be a link put in the chat up on the screen.
Oh
and we're going to go to his latest Facebook post. And I think maybe not latest. It was maybe the one before. It was about your precision when you were measuring maybe run out, or you're measuring run out. And so there's going to be a link here and put up on the screen. You may have to copy and paste it. I don't know if we can copy and paste it out of it. But we're going to go raid Cody's chat or raid Cody's Facebook page. What this means is I want to see, we've got currently 50 people in here right now, and there'll be more that watch this afterward. There'll be thousands of people that watch this afterwards. And I just want to see hundreds of comments on your Facebook page. 1, I want to show you the love, man. 2, I want to boost engagement. And 3, I just want us to do something as a community together. And I think it would be awesome.
That's so awesome.
So, all right.
Thank you.
We're all gonna write. I think we've put it in the chat. Like the Facebook post is there, so make sure you go to the post. If we have, let's say we have 50 people in here right now. If we get 25 comments in here by the end of the show, well, actually, we're gonna do a minute countdown. We're gonna do a 1 minute countdown here in a second. If we get 25 comments, half of the people, I will give away the CNC Kickstart to somebody for free. Okay, so here we go.
Oh
all right,
my God.
All right, CNC family. Here you've got a task to do here. Go to that link and write Andy Bird Builds sent me the CNC show raid. Okay, can we put that in the chat for them so they can copy and paste it? There we go. I don't know if that's able to be copy and pasted.
An Andy Bird bomb.
Yes, that's what we were calling it. It's a bird bomb. Awesome. All right. Eric is going to get us going here with a countdown. Let's blow up. Oh, yeah. All right. Countdown. I got a minute here. Minute starting. I can see the countdown on the live, or the count up on the live, starting now. All right, everybody go. Go. Go to the link and write Andy Bird Builds sent me the CNC show raid.
Oh my gosh. Andy, that's so awesome of you. That's really cool. I think that's such a good idea for like engagement and watch. You know what? I bet you now people are going to start doing this all the time.
Well, remember where it started. It started with me and you, man. And I think that would be awesome. If you're just jumped on, what we're doing right now is we're currently, you have 20 more seconds to go to Facebook, to the Facebook link up above, and hopefully it sends you to the same post. That was the goal. And make the comment, Andy Bird Builds sent me the CNC show raid. If we get 25 people to do it, if we can get 25 people to do it right after this, right now after this raid, we're going to give away the CNC Kickstart to one lucky person.
Okay, you ready to go see it?
All right, let's go. We're going to your Facebook page now.
Okay,
Refresh it. All right, someone says 35 comments so far.
Gosh.
Yes.
It's happening so fast, I'm not even getting notifications yet.
I know. I wanted you to have like notifications on your phone, and your phone just out of nowhere goes bing, 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 bing.
Looks like we're up to
All right, drop the link. Looks like people are saying the link doesn't work, but people have found it. So drop that link again in the chat. Chris Gallagher says there's 3 comments before the link was posted. Yes. Thank you, Ronald. Thank you. Yeah, copy and paste the link. Eric is posting it right now. So out of the chat, copy that. Hopefully we got it right. And it should take you there. All right, how many comments do you think we got here?
Okay, let me refresh it.
25 was the goal. That's great, man. By the way, that was really impressive. Explain to us why we're kind of counting here. What you're in that reel, what you're testing.
So anytime I set up the machine with every single setup, I'll take out the collet, I'll put in a new collet depending on the diameter that I'm cutting, and I need to get that run out dialed in perfectly straight. So that way, when I'm grinding, it's going to be cutting straight the whole time. If there's a bunch of run out there, it could actually mess with my overall dimension. It could make it to where it grinds really heavy on one side and not heavy enough on the other, and it's just a mess. So with every single setup that I do this. I go in there, and on that collet, as you see it spinning, there's 3 little set screws on that collet adapter.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do is I put in the collet, put in the tool, clamp it down, and then I check the run out and I start adjusting those screws to get it dialed in perfectly at 0.
Okay.
We got 25 at least.
Yeah. And then the other important thing too, at the very beginning of that little video, you can see the dial looks like the needle's jumping back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So that's me opening and closing the collet to make sure it's repeating.
Okay. Nice, man.
Yeah.
All right. Eric said we have at least 25 comments.
Man, so awesome.
Chris Gallagher said that we have over 35 when he said it. So, all right, we need to. So, if you haven't put hashtag Andy Bird Builds in the chat to enter our giveaway. If you've already done it, you're already entered. So hashtag Andy Bird Builds in the chat, and we're going to draw someone to win the CNC Kickstart course right now.
It's so great. Such a good idea.
All right. Hashtag Andy Bird Builds. Last call. Last call. All right. Let's draw someone. We've got... Oh, almost Garrett. Oh, William Robert. Congratulations.
Congrats, William.
Congratulations. We've got the CNC Kickstart course, which is my 6 project plus a bonus project course that walks you through the basics. Fantastic. So email support at andybirdbuilds.com. Tell them you won the giveaway. Miranda, you can't lie about this because Miranda's in the background and she knows who won. She's making notes. So make sure only the person that wins writes an email and says I won. But yeah, email support at andybirdbuilds.com to claim your prize. Cool. I think that went pretty well. I think if we had the tech working for some reason in StreamYard, our graphics aren't working really. So it would be better. So Cody, you think we should do that again?
Yeah, I think it's a really cool idea. I think that's really neat.
Cool. Well, hopefully that post goes viral for you now. And you can't keep up with demand.
Dude, thank you so much. That's such a awesome idea.
Cool, man. All right, it worked. It was the first time we've ever done anything like that. So, all right. So where we're at. First of all, thank you, community, for doing that. And it's just really cool to see all of us come together and do something like that and all in one place. And so we're looking to do more things like that and just support each other and to do fun things and just to have a good time. And I think that was a cool thing. So our next segment, we're going to do rapid fire Q&A. So if you have any questions, we've already got some questions that are curated for us. This is rapid fire Q&A style. This is where we answer your questions. If you got a question for Cody, for me, go ahead and drop it in the chat for us. And we're going to be rifling through these and get through as many as we possibly can. All right, here's our animation. I'm clicking the button. Rapid fire Q&A questions.
I think you should save that as one of your like graphics. I think that's hilarious.
You gotta, man, with live production, you gotta roll with it. You
Yeah.
gotta roll with it. It's not like, hey, come back tomorrow or give me a minute. It's just like, hey, we're here. Everybody's here. Let's do this, right? So thank you for being a good sport and going with it. So rapid fire Q&A. Let's get those questions up on the screen. Get your questions in the chat for us. As we're running through these, any bit questions, any feeds and speeds, any bit geometry, different kinds of bits. Get all those questions in the chat and get them answered here. All right. Our Ballard Designs asks, have you named the new machine yet?
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Brian? No, I haven't.
Okay.
Actually, one thing that I want to do, I think that I need to do, is on the old machine, the FX5, on the back side over there, I had a bunch of stickers from all the makers. And so now I have a brand new sticker wall on the side of that machine. So I don't have a name yet. I'm not quite sure. But one thing I do know for sure is I need to get everybody's stickers again. Start getting a machine.
Yeah, you do. And then when your business is going to grow so much, and then when you get all the stickers on that machine, you're going to have a new machine. You're going to end up with an FX9. Is that possible? I don't know. I'm making it up.
No, I don't think they have 9. But but it was funny because when I traded in the 5 to get the 7, I had to go over there and peel all those stickers off because it was going back to the company I bought it from.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was kind of a sad moment, but
yeah.
Same time I was like, this means I have new real estate for stickers.
Right.
So
yeah. Cool. So Rusty Nail Design asks, what if you make a bit storage tray from MDF? So he was talking about the chemicals in MDF breaking down the carbide.
Yeah, I think that's actually a great question. No, MDF in and of itself, just sitting there, it's not going to attack it. I believe it's when you start cutting and you start introducing the heat and then the chemicals and all that stuff, that's what attacks the carbide. If you're just storing your tools in there, no, it's not going to hurt it.
It's a great question.
Yeah, that is a really good question. Actually, I'd never even thought about that. So thanks for bringing that up.
Ballard Designs says, Cody, is there a possibility of a surfacing bit in the future?
Maybe. So I don't have the right equipment to do surfacing bits. So maybe in the future. But what I do is I just send everybody to Garrett's shop at IDC Woodcraft. I know he sells some there. And him and I, we work a lot together. We've partnered together. And so any of the tools that I don't have, I just send people there. But for me personally, like, yeah, maybe I'll have an opportunity to do it one day, but more times than not, a lot of it's like brazed carbide on like a high-speed steel like body shank, and I hate brazed carbide with a passion. So part of me never even wants to take that on just because I hate brazed carbide tips. But so the answer is maybe, but not anytime soon. I can tell you that for sure.
Cool. Harris Maker Shop. Do you need to run that run-out test for every bit you grind?
So with every setup, yes. With every bit, no. You don't set it up and put an indicator on there. So this machine is fully automated. It has a robotic arm that goes in there. It grabs a tool, it puts it into the collet. It actually, so inside that machine, there's a thing called a touch probe. And the way I design my programs is 100% of the bits that I manufacture, they get measured for runout. And if the runout's bad or out of tolerance, it won't run the tool. It'll actually put it away and grab a brand new one. And then every tool gets laser inspected. So it's 100% inspection. And so to answer your question is yes and no. No, I don't set it up and check runout the way you saw in that video with every single tool. But yes, I build a lot of quality into the programs that it does check and verify runout on every single tool. But it's automated. I'm not personally doing it. That's actually a really good question too.
Yeah,
so
fantastic. Hawkeye Brewing says, is it worth sharpening bits if they can be sharpened?
So again, that question is a maybe. Right now, I do not offer resharpening for two reasons. One, I don't ever want to set up my machine to resharpen one tool. Like that'd be absolutely horrible. But if I were to set up a program, I think what I'd do is like, hey, every Wednesday I resharpen tools. So once people send in enough tools, say I have 25 of them together where I can resharpen it, that might be something that's doable. But the problem that we run into when you resharpen tools is most people out there in the maker community, they do not have an option to do a cutter comp on their machine. So if you send me a 1/4 inch cutter and then you have me regrind it, your diameter is not a 1/4 inch anymore. It might be like 0.230, depending on how much I have to grind off there to get it good. So if you use a program, you programmed it for a 1/4 inch bit, and you're using a tool that's 0.230, well, now if you're cutting something out and say it's an assembly, like you're doing cabinets and it's got to fit together, your project might not fit together because the machine thinks you have a 1/4 inch tool and you're not using a 1/4 inch tool. Mm-hmm. I think so. So on my machine, the Masso on my Onefinity, that does have a cutter compensation in there. So now it is becoming more available for people to do that. But in the past, it wasn't even an option. And I think for a lot of people, it's still not an option to do cutter comp. So if you have the ability to do cutter comp within your machine, yeah, I think it could be worth resharpening tools.
Cool.
Yeah, because if you don't have cutter comp, you have to go and like reprogram everything for that new diameter now. So it's like it could be a good idea, but for the majority of people, I don't think it is. And that the other thing too is like the cutting tools that I make. My whole goal is to have, and I say this just because I didn't know any other company at the time, but like I wanted a mono quality, but on a 2-car garage budget. So I make really high quality tools, but I'm not charging $65 for a compression router. You know, it's $38. So in the grand scheme of things, sometimes it's just better to buy a brand new one. But if you have like a really big expensive tool, like, yeah, it might be worth having it resharpened.
Yeah, I bought I believe it was from Whiteside, which is another tool manufacturer, but I bought a 1/2 inch diameter compression bit, which ran me like
probably $140.
Yep. But being a compression bit, you're not going to be able to regrind that, are you?
No, you can. You can totally regrind.
Okay. Can you?
Okay. Yeah. So like my tools, they are different. So like Amana can't grab my compression router and regrind it. They would have to actually reverse engineer the whole tool because I use my own tool geometry. So yeah, they can get that tool, reverse engineer it, and probably make a regrind program. But yeah, when it comes to bigger tools like that, it's definitely doable. So one thing though, I just started doing regrinds for a company here in Phoenix. And believe it or not, it's a bowling alley reached out to me.
Oh, really?
There's like 15 pro shops here in the Valley, and they have these big carbide inserted like drills. And so you walk into their shop and they have this huge industrial drill press that looks kind of like a manual mill. It's got a DRO on there, handles, and so they're drilling out all the holes on bowling balls. Huh. And so they might have to core it out, put a new sleeve in there, and then drill that sleeve. And and so yeah, they I just started re-sharpening tools for them.
Cool.
But that's a lot different. It's not like cutting geometry on an end mill. Like the machine usually, it literally goes in there, it probes it, it finds the face of the cutter, and then it does just the end work on it. It's not doing any of the fluting.
Okay. I've got a question for you here.
Sure.
That's been on my mind. And again, I mean, you know my intent. I don't spill any of your secrets here. But I've always wondered about carbide sourcing, like sourcing raw carbide, because I know there's got to be different qualities of carbide.
There are.
And it's, I would like, we talk about cutting geometry, we talk about coatings, but the carbide we start with, the ingredients that we start with, has to have an impact on all these things that we talked about, right?
It totally does. Matter of fact, let me grab something real quick.
Yeah.
So, okay. There's different grades and different types of carbide. And you have to be kind of careful. Like you have to buy carbide from like a reputable company, because unless you send it off to a lab, you really don't know what you're buying. So like I use the same grade and type of carbide on my tools that we used in the aerospace and defense industry. And I'm buying from those same companies that sell the carbide to all of the big bit manufacturers that's making really high-end cutters. But there's different grades. So when you start looking at the different like types and different grades of carbide, I made one specifically. So it's this guy, and actually JR, he's in the chat. When I first started making this, I made it for a company out in Florida, and they put this tool in competition with another compression router, and I used a sub-micron grain structure on the carbide. And what's really, really nice about that is you can actually make a tool that, because it has a tighter grain structure, you can actually put a sharper edge on there and it stays sharper for longer. But the drawback is it's way more brittle. So you kind of have the like toughness versus hardness type of thing going on.
Yeah.
You know, you can have a carbide that has not as much cobalt in it, I believe, or it has more cobalt that's in it. And in doing so, it just kind of makes the tool like tougher. But if you start taking more of that cobalt out, it makes it a lot harder, which makes it more brittle. But in doing so, the grain structure is different, and it allows me to actually put a sharper edge, and it'll make the tool last a lot longer.
Okay, interesting.
And the idea, like so there's like, if you have a grinding wheel, right, and say your grinding wheel has a 45-degree angle on there. Well, the edge of my grinding wheel, if you want a really, really sharp corner on your grinding wheel, you can only put a corner that is not any bigger than the grain size of your material, right? Or any smaller, rather. So if you try to put a really, really tight corner on something, but the grain size is larger than the corner you're trying to put on there, you physically can't do it.
Right.
And so it's the same idea with cutting tools, right? So if you have a tighter grain structure, I can actually put a sharper edge on there that'll stay sharper longer. And so yeah, like there are different types, there are different grades. I personally use the same that we use in the aerospace defense industry. And when it comes to special projects like this one that I was working on, it's a big deal. It's a lot more expensive.
Right.
Sub-micron.
So do you think, in your opinion, or maybe is there in the bits that we use across all the brands, across all the manufacturers, is there a big difference in carbide quality being used?
I think anything you buy from China, you have no idea what you're going to get.
Okay.
They're probably using the the cheapest, worst carbide out there. I don't know. But if you're buying from a reputable company, like they're going to be using good quality stuff, especially if they're selling to other big shops that are doing aerospace type work. Like they're mandated to provide material certs proving that they're using the material that they're using, type of thing. So, but yeah, that like, and the same with like high speed steel cutters. Like you can get a drill, or you can get another end mill that's high speed steel and it's not carbide.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't know what you're getting, especially if it's coming from overseas.
Yeah. Is there a big difference? Like, I guess try to help us understand the gap. Like, let's say from Chinese carbide, overseas carbide versus like the bottom of the like bottom quality carbide to the top end carbide. How big is that gap? And how does that translate into like the performance that we see? Like, is the higher quality stuff like super expensive? And
it will be more expensive. Yeah, it'll definitely be more expensive. That's a good question, and I don't think I really know the answer to that. Other than the fact that, like, you've used tools and like, because there's been times where I bought an end mill from Amazon, and within like a day, it's already like, she's already spent, she's already tired. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know, but that could be a combination of cheaper material and cheaply made. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know exactly what the total side of it. But one thing I do know is when you have higher quality material on your cutting tools, it's going to yield, it's going to last longer. It's going to provide better finishes. It's going to, all of those come into play. When you start buying other stuff where you're not really sure, I mean, you might get lucky. You might not. You might, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like anything else. The better the quality of the material, the better the end results are going to be, for sure.
So I'll put this out there, and maybe bit manufacturers will see this, maybe they won't. But you state where your carbide is coming from, but a lot of the times we don't know where. Actually, most of the time we don't know where that carbide is coming from. And we see prices, we see, pretty finishes, we see colorful finishes. We see, and that's perceived as quality. But my thing is like, what is let's just go straight at it. What's the difference between a $68 Amana compression bit versus your $38 router bit? In one, the material quality that we're buying, the coating, the geometry, like, what are we buying? And we really don't know in the hobby CNC space.
Well, I think when it comes to companies like Amana, like they make a quality product. They do.
They do. I don't want to put off that they don't, but they do.
But if you buy, like I said, from like a reputable company, it's going to be good stuff. The other thing too is I just don't know. Like, I think when it comes to carbide, like carbide can only be mined in a couple places in the entire world. I think one of them is in China. The other one might be like Malaysia or something like that. And so what happens is they mine all the carbide and then they buy the raw carbide and it gets sent to other companies. And then it goes through the manufacturing process. And that's how they actually make the cutting tools, blanks or whatever, make the carbide. It's not like it's a, you don't dig this out of the ground, right? Like it's got to be mined.
Yeah. And someone digs it out of the ground, but not in your backyard.
Yeah. But it's not going to look like a carbide blank, right?
Exact. Oh, yes. I see what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, so it's like they mine the ore, they mine the carbide, they turn it into the dust, they add the other alloys to it, like the cobalt or whatever, and then they put it through a manufacturing process to give you your carbide blanks.
Yeah.
So I personally buy from companies that I know it's like they're legit manufacturing companies of the carbide. But the actual sourcing of the carbide where it's mined, I think there's only a couple places in the world where you can actually buy it.
Yeah. So it's safe to say all the carbide is coming from, let's just say it's coming from a very similar place.
Yeah,
And that was my question of like, before
it's
about
the manufacturing process after it's been mined. That's what you don't know.
right.
You know,
And,
go ahead.
and
Sorry.
no, I was going to say, and that was the question I had earlier about like, what is like from the cheapest carbide to the most expensive carbide, quality wise, like how big of a difference is there?
I think there's well, so I've never bought the really cheap carbide, so I don't know with 100% certainty. But what I do know is, that if you get like cheaper carbide tools, like there might be imperfections that's in the material. There might be some micro fracturing that happens during the manufacturing process that they're not inspecting for. It's going to cause for tools to break 20 minutes after you start using it. You know what I mean? Like it's little stuff like that.
Yeah.
That with the cheap tools, like you just don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah. Man, I appreciate you getting in the weeds on that with me. I just always wondered. I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's a good question, and I'm certainly not the expert on it. I just know that like the people that I buy from, like they're legit companies.
Yeah.
That are used on manufacturing plants all across the world, really.
Someone told me, I asked this question to someone else, and I think this is a good place to end on it. Kind of exactly what you just said was that if a tool supplier, tool manufacturer is selling to a machine shop, to a big operation like you're talking about, it's a legit product because you can't get crappy products by machinists, because they're running them day in and day out, and they'll know, like they'll know for certain that it's not a quality product. So
well, the other thing that's interesting about that specifically, so me working in the industry that I did, so with me being a quality engineer, we had to write and develop processes for the entire company, right? So from request for quote to the manufacturing process to shipping it out of the door, you had to have a quality system in place that would meet standard requirements, this like mandated in order for you to make airplane parts or whatever. And counterfeit product and counterfeit material, it's a big risk. It really, really is. And so they mandate, the standard mandates you to source your material from a company that's like ISO 9000, because that quality system is going to make sure that they're not cutting any corners. You know what I mean? Like there's the Buy American Act. So anything that's aerospace and defense, like we can't buy aluminum from China that's going to go into a fighter jet. Like you're not even allowed to purchase that type of material. So you have to purchase sourced materials that's approved because of the flight worthiness type of thing.
Yeah.
So with that being said, anytime you're dealing with a big reputable company like you're talking about, who are AS 9100 or AS 9000 certified for doing that type of work or like medical work, you know that they are mandated to buy like legitimate, real raw materials that is constantly being inspected, material certs. Like we would literally manufacture a part. I would buy the material. I'd have to look at the material certs. I had to verify where that material was actually manufactured and made sure that it was on a government approved list, right? Like for like DFARS requirements, I guess is what it's called. So that really long explanation to say that when you buy from companies like Amazon, you really don't know where it's coming from. But if you're buying from companies that are held to the same type of quality requirements that needs to be met for making airplane parts or machine gun parts for our military, like, you know, it's going to be legit.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Cool. We've got 4 more questions here. Let's blast through these. Minnie, my dog, is there she goes. She's laying down on the couch now. She wanted to come say hi, but all right, Garrick, how can I adapt your course to my smaller rig in free software? Okay, so this is my question here, or question for me. So I created the CNC Kickstart to and the super simple CNC workflow to work with any machine, with caveats. There are tons of machines out there. There are tons of different softwares, different setups. So my team and I we zoomed way out of the process, and we looked at, okay, what are the consistent things that you have to do from project conception, CNC project conception, to finishing? And what are those steps along the way? No matter what machine you have, no matter what software you have. So that's what we did. With that being said, so that applies to any setup. And it's very, very helpful. The steps are all the same. We all take the same steps in the CNC process, no matter what CNC you have and no matter what software you have. The buttons you might hit, the files you need, the speeds that you run may be different. But generally, it's the same process. And so with that being said, we go even further in the CNC Kickstart course with we use 3 different machines in there. We use the Jimitsu 440 Pro Max with Vectric software and UGS as the control software. And then we use the Shapeoko Pro or Shapeoko 5 Pro 2x2 with Carbide Create. And we actually use the Shapeoko, that same machine with Vectric as well for a project. And then we use the my bigger Avid 5x10 with Vectric and Mach 4 as the control software. So I use the same workflow through every project to really hone those skills in and kickstart your CNC journey. If you don't have Carbide Create and you don't have Vectric, I do supply the files for those. You can, there's a couple different ways to do it. Carbide Create is free, but you can't export G-code from it. That's the limiting factor of Carbide Create now. You could use Fusion 360, but you'll have to set up, I include the SVG files, the vector files, but you'll have to set up your own toolpaths. So we did the best, short answer, we did the best we could to accommodate a majority. We may introduce other file types in the future. But Vectric and Carbide Create covers, I'm sorry if it doesn't cover you exactly, but there's still a ton of the course that can be adapted to your particular setup. So hopefully that helps. That's a hard one, Cody, to try to, man, we spent a lot of time on this, trying to figure out a way to teach CNC across all CNC machines, all softwares. That was hard. I think we did a good job, but it was a tough one.
Well, I think like what you said, you kind of took that 40,000 foot bird's eye view and you look at the process, because it doesn't matter what programming software you have, a circle is still a circle, right?
Yes.
Like a pocket is still a pocket. The software on how you find that specific toolpath for running a pocket might be a little bit different, but the concept is the same, right? So yeah, I can definitely see the struggles with it. But I like that you're kind of taking that bird's eye view of the actual like process development and going through the workflow, regardless of the machine you have. Because I'd be willing to bet that the principles are going to be the same for what you're doing that what I'm doing on like my Onefinity using Carveco. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like it's it's going to be very, very similar.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
So,
Good
but
question.
being able to break it down into like bite-sized pieces for people who are starting off, like that's, and I commend you for that, because we need more people doing like the type of stuff that you're doing. Well, actually, I take that back. There's a lot of people willing to help. More people being as structured as you are, the way you think, the way you operate, like that's what I really like about the stuff that you do.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. All right. Let's move on to Hawkeye here. When playing with feeds and speeds, is there a methodology to step through? Like, what is your methodology to approach speeds and feeds?
So kind of my typical MO when I'm starting, depending. So the hard part about this is there are so many different variables, right? So your feeds and speeds are going to be very different than the beechwood that lady was cutting with the little owl piggy bank versus the hard maple, right? Like two totally different types of materials. So one thing again, and this is just me, I always think of like heat management, regardless of the tool that I'm using. The better that I can manage the heat, the longer my tool's going to last, the better the finish is going to be. All of that comes into play. So I start off at like a basic, like 100 inches a minute, 1/8 inch depth per pass, maybe, depending on the tool. I say like 12,000 RPM. Like I'll cut it. I'll see what the chips look like. I'll see how it sounds. If it's like really loud and screechy and it sounds like it's just, you're just blazing through it, you probably are. So, a lot of it has to do with feel. A lot of it has to do with sound. A lot of it has to do with the chip load. You want to make sure you're maintaining a certain chip load throughout the entire cut, because as your chip load gets smaller, the more rubbing you're going to be doing versus cutting. You're not allowing the tool to take a big enough bite to remove that chip to carry the heat away with it. So it's just keeping that kind of stuff in mind is how I approach it. I even got to a point where I was working with a buddy of mine, and we started not even like really looking at the RPM and the inches per minute. Like we just started with the baseline, and then we actually took a heat gun and we put the heat gun on the cutter while it was cutting to see what that average temperature was before, middle, and after the cut, as we were kind of developing it, just to see like how we're really managing that heat. Now again, that's not, I don't recommend that for everybody. That was just something that we were doing as we were developing the different like tool geometry. But my methodology is I go for how it sounds, and I look at the chips. If you're getting sawdust, you're going to have problems. If you have nice fluffy chips, that's probably where you want to be.
Nice.
I hope that answers kind of
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, let's go to the last question here. Adam says, as a new person wanting to dip my toe into CNC routers, is there a machine that you recommend for under $300 to get used to the software? You want me to take this one?
Yeah, you go for it.
This is my wheelhouse. Adam, my first answer is no. There isn't a machine that I would recommend. So, but hear me out. So for under the $300, you're gonna get a Jimitsu 440 or 3060 or 3080. It's not a good experience. So you can, and people, let me, this is a caveat. Let me say, people have done this before, but they've had really technical backgrounds like yourself, Cody, where they kind of already knew what they were getting into. But what, in my experience, buying a sub $500 machine, it's very limiting. It's very frustrating. It's not easy to use. And I'll say 9 times out of 10 when people go that path, they get frustrated and they never touch a CNC again, because what they think is, okay, that was I had a bad experience with that cheap CNC. That's going to be my experience with the more expensive CNC. And that's not the reality. The reality is that when you're spending a little bit more money, you're paying for not just a more powerful machine, but you're paying for more supported machines. You're paying for more thought out designs, more intuitive designs or intuitive software. And there's a lot, like, you're paying for that user experience in some cases. This has been my, like, through thousands of people that I've coached, this has been my advice just based on that. And I had a student that had a Fox Alien, Mooster Pro, and he was in the CNC side hustle course, and we were working through it, and he had all these great business ideas, but he could not get past the struggles of the machine. And it just got bogged down, and he ended up, like, this machine I bought it to learn on, but I'm not able to learn because I'm troubleshooting it all the time. So that's my advice. Now, with the software, you can download Vectric software for free. I'm not sure about Carveco. I know, Cody, you use Carveco, but you can download a free trial of Vectric and use it, and create everything. You just can't export the G code until you pay for it. And once you pay for it, you don't lose those projects. You can actually go back and export that G code. So Fusion 360 is a very steep learning curve. And then Carbide Create, another popular one, is free to download and use, but you can't export G code. So you don't even have to buy a machine to download these softwares, watch tutorial videos, and get used to it. Save up your money and go from there. That's my 2 cents based on my experience and the experience of other people. But other people do have different experiences, and I understand that. So
that's a good question, though.
That's a fantastic question.
Because I think that's what a lot of new people are. They probably ask that same exact question.
They do. And the logic makes sense. Like, I want to dip my toes in as cheaply as possible and just to experience it, which makes sense until you realize that the experience is nothing like you on your Onefinity, and nothing like me on my Shapeoko, and nothing like someone else on an alt mill or, long mill or, so unless they have prior experience or they love to tinker and troubleshoot, then I'm like, okay, well, just know what you're getting into.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, and community is big too, right? Like if I were recommending a brand for any certain person, I would recommend a company that has a large following, that you can go to their Facebook group. And they have 60,000 people in there, and there's there's something special about the maker community. I don't know what it is, but out of all the communities I've ever been a part of, the maker community has been the most helpful, the most loving, encouraging group of people that I've been a part of. Outside of going to church or something like that, right? Like this is just, there's a lot of people out there that love helping. And so if you decide to buy a machine that has a big community with it, that's a really good idea to do also. Because I think community is key. I really do.
Yeah. The Clack Shack just jumped in here. Hey, Clack, happy retirement, by the way. He just retired as a police officer. Thank you for your service. And yeah, he's tested maybe more machines than anybody I know. And he says less than $1,000 is going to be risky. I don't have a high-end machine, but I have tested sub $500 machines and hated them. But I will say, I recently, the Jimitsu 440 Pro Max, I did a video on a couple months ago. That is at the time of making that video, is a $900 CNC. And I was blown away. I was genuinely it wasn't sponsored. I have an affiliate with them, but that machine's in my shop and it's gonna stay in my shop. I don't keep things in my shop unless I use them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it is not a Shapeoko. It is not a Onefinity. It is not an alt mill. That is not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is I was really impressed with what they packed into that for $900. So yeah, man, this has been good. This has been great. Even though our tech has let you down. I'm sorry we didn't give you the full experience, but you know.
Are you kidding me, dude? I'm not kidding you. When you were kind of talking earlier, you're like, yeah, I kind of met Cody right around this time. Dude, I will never forget, like, the first time you messaged me, I was like, oh my gosh, Andy Bird just sent me a message. I was like, I can't believe it. And now I'm like sitting here on your show, like, I'm just so thrilled to be here. Like, no kidding, man. I'm so very thankful. Thank you. I love it.
Cool, man. Yeah. Hey, it's been good. We've got each other's phone numbers. We text back and forth, and we met through this community. We met through the CNC world, and it's cool. And consider you a friend, and I'm happy to have you, man. Love having you on. So
yeah, I love it. Thank you.
Hey,
Great.
Before we go here, we've got one more thing to give away. We've got another giveaway. We haven't done that yet. So hashtag. Excuse me. If you're just getting here, drop hashtag Andy Bird Builds in the chat, and we're going to make sure, since we've been going along here, we're going to make sure you are here. So you have to be present to win, just to confirm, because we want to make sure someone gets these bits and uses them. So you must be present to win for this one. So hashtag Andy Bird Builds, drop it in the chat. You'll be entered to win a Jenny bit, the compression bit, right? And then a downtown Jenny. And why people are getting that one last chance to put in Andy Bird Builds, hashtag Andy Bird Builds in the chat to enter. Can you tell everybody where the name, the Jenny bit, came from?
So the shop that I used to work at for years and years and years, there was always an inside joke. And anytime somebody said, hey, what part number are we working on? Somebody would always say, and it was like, I'm not kidding you. There's like 20 guys. Somebody say, oh, the part number is 8675309. So there's a song in the 80s, and the girl, her phone number was 8675309. Like, the song is older than us, I think. Like, it's so it goes back a long ways. Well, when I hosted my very first group buy, and I had 100 of the 1/4-inch compression routers made, they told me, they're like, all right, Cody, now that you're making like more than 10, we got to do it legit. We got to put it in the system. We need to give it a part number. So when he asked me for the part number, I was like, I don't know, 8675309, just because of the inside joke that we had for years, not even thinking about it. But when I hosted the group buy, the CNC community saw the part number, and everybody started calling the bit Jenny, because that's the girl's phone number, and the name stuck. And then the coolest part about it is every tool after the fact, like, I haven't named a single tool. They've all been from people in the community. Like, I'd launch a new tool, people would submit names, I would have them vote on it, and then the winning name was whatever that name was going to be.
Love it.
So there's like the Jenny, the downtown Jenny, the uptown Jenny, the groovy Jenny. Like, I'm running out of Jenny names. That's the only problem.
All right. So Cody, send your Jenny names to Cody.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, next time I launch a bit, if it's not already a style of bit that I'm making that hasn't been named, if it's something like brand new, I'll do the same thing. I'll let the community submit names, and then they can all vote on it, and we'll have a new bit.
Nice. All right. Let's draw this, shall we, Cody?
Let's do it.
So Eric is going to spin the random generator here, name picker. Good luck, everyone. Ooh, Duffy. Harris Maker Shop 2. All right, you got to be in the house, or we're going to redraw. We're going to redraw if you're not here. So let us know. Let us know you're here. There you go. There's a name for you while we're waiting. Someone says Jenny in different languages.
Yeah. And Chris. It's funny.
Start maybe the H or the J is silent and just, or it's like Spanish and it's Henny, the Henny bit.
Well, so we I just launched the Molly Mills.
He
So
put his
there's
name back.
another name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ron's been wanting the anorexic Jenny for years. He's been asking me to make that bit for him for a long time.
Harris Maker Shop 2. Are you in the house? Are you in the house? Going to give you a couple more seconds here to say you're here in the chat. And if not, we're going to redraw this. You've got, there you go, Jenny from the block.
Well,
he's here. Yeah. Good. Congratulations. Send an email to support@andybirdbuilds.com with your shipping information, and we'll pass that along to Cody for you, and he will send those out. So support@andybirdbuilds.com. Congratulations. Thanks again, man, for one, being here, but two, bringing some bits to give away. At the community, go show Cody some love. Is there a place where you want to send people, let you talk a little bit here? Where can people find you? What's your website?
So I think the easiest thing to find is just jennybits.com. Super simple. jennybits.com. That'll bring you right to my website if you wanted to pick up a tool or whatever. But I think my socials, again, I'm playing catch up, right? It's like I had the product and the support before I had the business. So it's not like I have a jennybits.com web page on Facebook. It's just Cody's CNC because that's how I started my side hustle.
Yeah. We just sent a bunch of people there, man.
Yeah, I know. Dude, that's so awesome. Thanks again for that. It's really cool.
For sure, man.
So yeah, on Instagram or Facebook, it's just Cody's CNC. But if you just want to go check out my website, it's jennybits.com. It's the easiest way.
Minnie wants to say hello. Here's Minnie.
Minnie looks pretty big.
She's not Minnie. She's pretty big. So, all right, go lay down. Go lay down. You said hello. Go lay down. All right. One thing we got to do before we go here is thank our channel members. And we've got several here. We thank you so much for your support. So these are people that support us every month to keep this show going. And if it's a way where don't feel obligated at all, but if it's a way where you enjoyed the show and you want to support us in a small way, there's a button right down below where you can click and join. And you also get your name on the channel member board to be read here. So we've got 16 channel members now. Thank you very much. And we've got a special one. Cody is actually a channel member. Thank you, sir, so much for your support.
Of course.
We've also got Johnny Gardner, Fernando Aguilar, Technotan Australia, David Mercer, Aaron Newton, Earl Mahaffey, Monte Jones, Ray Stoyle, Roland Glidden, Net News Ledger, Randall Jenkins, Pineapples Barbecue, Bradley Custom Designs, Dave Hoffman, and Frank Bean. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot, and it means more than you know. It goes to so many things, to giveaways, it helps us to put more into this show. So we appreciate that so much. All right. Well, what a show. Thank you for rolling with it. Thank you all for the audience for being here. We'll be back again in 2 weeks with a special guest. Alex Duffy is on the schedule to come join us.
Alex.
Yeah.
I love Alex. He's such a good dude.
Yes. 2 weeks from now, come join us. I know Cody will be in the chat saying hello. And thank you so much for being here. All right. Like I always say, now go fire up that CNC and make something you're proud of. We'll see you in the next one.
See you guys.